All right. So, welcome. Greetings. My name is Sanahara Ama Chandra, and it is Monday. The actual day is 10/12, Indigenous Peoples Day. In this country, some people call it by another name. I don't. And today, I'm going to do some breathing as we give folks a chance to come in. I'm going to do things a little bit different today. I have something else that I'm being led to offer. And so, being obedient means doing what you are asked to do. So, I want to also say, if you're noticing that my lighting is brighter, we want to give thanks to the folks over at the Socially Distant Fest who invested in me, an artist, to make sure that I have light, a proper tripod. And so I really appreciate them more than you know. And so thank you. Thank you to the folks over at the Socially Distant Fest and the people who support me there. Thank you to the people on my page who continue to support me and the work that I do. It's very much so appreciated. So I'm going to do some breathing. And the conversation today is going to talk about the path to the heart. The path is through the heart. So, before we get started, I invite you into some breathing with me. Let's take a nice deep, we're going to breathe in and out about 3 times. And I will share with you that breathing with intention means following your breath in and then following it as it goes out and noticing how you feel on both the inhale and the exhale. So let's do that now. Breathing in and breathing out. Then breathing in and breathing out. And that final breath in and breathe out. And thank you for breathing with me as you continue to breathe on your own. Please and thank you. I'm being silly. However, the energy of breath is one of the easiest ways to find your way through the practice of gratitude. When one takes the time to just breathe in and breathe out, it's a connection you get to, I am so thankful that I can breathe and I can breathe out. So, as I said, we're going to talk about the path being through the heart. And why would I even say that the path is through the heart? Well, because it is. It is what it is. We can refuse the heart, but there really is no way to the purest, most amazing life, the most refined or transformed state of being, unless one goes through the heart. Now, when I say go through the heart, it means that there will be lessons. The heart is a master teacher. Our heart is a master teacher. It will bring us lessons that will bring us to our knees at times. The heart as a master teacher will lift us to the heavens. The heart as a master teacher is it is the path that will yield to us our greatest rewards. And it will be unique to each and every being on the planet. everyone will go through their own journey, their own unfolding on the path to the heart. It's going to look different for your mother. It's going to look different for your father. It's going to look different for you, your sisters, your brothers, your partner, your children. The path to the heart will be different based on different relationships, each one bringing us either a curse or a blessing. A curse or a blessing. And why do I use the word curse? Because when we reject the teachings of the heart, when we reject the lessons that the heart is trying to bring to us to go through, oftentimes we cut ourselves off from love. And when we cut ourselves off from real, true, authentic love, then we try to find a substitute for it, or we run somewhere else, and oftentimes we go somewhere else and there's that same situation. It feels similar. It feels like, what is this? I have this again? Yes, because it's a lesson of the heart, our master teacher. And yes, you will be dealing with the same thing through a different being. And there again becomes your opportunity to lean into the teaching that the heart is trying to gift to you. Now, some of this is out of our own hard-headedness. I just don't want to do it. I don't know if that's your inner 7-year-old or your inner 3-year-old saying no. I don't know if it's your inner 3-year-old that just doesn't want to do it. I don't know if it's your teenager who just feels misunderstood. I don't know if it's your inner 20-something-year-old who felt like the world was out of order and you just couldn't figure it out. I don't know which you may be showing up to the lesson. But when you are conscious and yourself, that's that breath. This is me. This is this feeling. And this is my lesson. Now, when I say that the heart is going to bring us a blessing or a curse, that really deals with the idea of perspective, right? Many of us feel like life is so heavy when we keep repeating the same thing, and it just, why do people always, if you're saying the word always happens, then as we've talked about, I'm sure you've heard someone say, then the solution is you. The solution, the way through, is something that you are going to have to come into relationship with, come into truth with, come into acceptance of. Because the path is through the heart. It will not happen. We cannot rationalize ourselves through this because the mind really is simply a collection of thoughts and memories of what has already happened. But here you stand in the new, in this very new moment, in this now moment with an opportunity to make a different choice. And when you deal with the mind, then you can also deal with the fact that, yes, sometimes it's scary. I know it's scary. And this is when you see yourself through. This is when you call on your highest self and your spirit team and your breath. I know that it feels like I'm 5 years old again. I know that it feels like I'm 12 years old again. I know that it feels like the abandonment that I experienced before. I know that it feels like I was being misunderstood that I had before. But this is this now moment. And in this now moment, I get to do something different. And you know what's so interesting about the journey through? It will test you at every pass until you make peace with your heart. What does that look like? Sometimes we feel like we're too young for certain things, and then we feel like we're too old for certain things. I tell you. There's sometimes I'm like, why couldn't I get it right? Why didn't I have these thoughts like 5 years ago or 10 years ago? I'd be so much further along. Without accepting that, I am further along. I am my now me, living my now life with the opportunity to do it right again. And so when I accept in that and yield into the lessons of the heart's going to show us our anger. The heart's going to show us our pain. The heart's going to show us the places where we've chosen suffering. The heart is going to show us when we belittled others and then been belittled ourselves. The heart is going to show us whether or not our heart really is good. If you find many people will think that they are good people because they're just trying to tell people the right thing to do. And that's not your business. It's not your business to tell people what to do. It is not your business to tell others what to do. Your business is to live a life of demonstration. And that's some hard shit. Unless they ask you, can you please tell me what you think? Then they've given you permission to open your mouth and speak. I tend to lead with, is it okay if I offer my thoughts? That way, there's agreement. I will say, hey, this is your experience. You might agree with this, you might not. Because have you ever asked for people's agreement or their opinion on a thing and been like, that's garbage, I don't want that? We'll ask for people's opinion and then call it garbage. Because our heart knows what we want and need. Our heart is the one telling us what we need. But we go to others. Will you help me? Will you help me? I'm going to tell you that we are being required to learn how to help ourselves. So we can know how strong we are. So we can understand what it means to be in right relationship, to ask permission. Can I share with you? To be able to say to the person, is it okay if I? And we have to do this with even the youngest of our children. We have to do this with our babies. Is it okay? I want to now, and then there'll be times when as parent, just like spirit, when safety means you don't let the 2-year-old run out into the street, right? We don't let the 2-year-old run out into the street. So there'll be times when you get cut off at the pass and you're mad at life like a 2-year-old. Why won't you ever see a 2-year-old wailing because someone won't let them harm themselves? That is us often. But I'm telling you what I know. The path to where we are all heading will be as diverse as the beings on this planet, because each one of us will be given different lessons that will all have similar colors. See, that's where it gets interesting, right? They'll have similar colors. They'll vibrate similarly. So it'll feel same, but it is unique to you. Based on your relationships, your history, the memories that are in your mind and your relationship with your heart, what your ancestors that you wear. I tell people, you don't have to worry about you don't have to believe in ancestors, you're wearing them. The proof is in your DNA. Your ancestors live in your DNA. And they speak to us through our susceptibility to certain kinds of illnesses. They speak to us through our susceptibility to certain kinds of graces, certain skills, certain talents. They just show up. And so if we understand and accept, how about it? We accept the what is. Then we just get into right relationship with it. And right relationship, I tell you, not perfect. There have been so many times where I've had to eat crow. I had a conversation with a dear friend yesterday evening. He's the reason why I'm going to be pulling a card, a reading for the day. He's the reason why I'm going to be doing a reading for the day. And in that conversation, he brought up something that triggered me. And I had to remember, like, oh my, this feels like my teenager. This feels like me being blamed for something I didn't do. This feels like me when I first became mad, my very first marriage, and this feels like that. And this doesn't have to be that, but that's what's coming up. And so I had to realize I was ready to go word for word with them because I didn't want to be, charged for something that I wasn't guilty for. Like, I'll take the things that I'm guilty for, but I didn't do that. I was all in my feelings. And they said to me, Ama, it's okay. And I realized it is okay. And I get to see myself still needing to grow, still needing to be refined, still needing to bring out my truth because the path is through the heart. This is someone who I care deeply about. How then do I accept their truth and not let it trigger me? Big girl shit. That's big girl shit. That's like, okay, I'm an adult. Oh my goodness. So I'm appreciating you all so much for being here. Some people have difficulty with the idea of oracles and divination and readings and that kind of thing. I want to let you know that really it's about understanding patterns. We all have an electromagnetic field. Every one of us has an electromagnetic field. And because we have an electromagnetic field, it means then that we radiate out as well as attract. Electromagnetic. Electro is the energy broadcasting. Magnetic is the energy drawing to us. It can repel, it can draw, but it's still magnetic, depending upon which pole. And so when we can lean into our field, we can understand that what wants us is always seeking us. What wants us is always seeking us. And therefore, if we go through our heart, we will likely find our way back to love. And yes, it is so difficult. That's why it's called work. When people say do the work, thank you. When people say do the work, there's an understanding that the work really is the story of how we overcome, how do we refine ourselves. Like, let's think about a tree. I love nature, right? Or even a flower, a seed. But we'll stick with the tree, right? We say the tree just stands there. They're not doing any work. We're so ego. We have so much ego. Humans have so much ego. Yeah, that's why this is why we're growing. We have to grow and become evolved beings, right? So, our energy around the tree would say, they're not doing anything. That tree is taking in all of our carbon dioxide and shifting it into oxygen selflessly. It just does it. That's just what it does. That's what it's doing. It's his being, right? That tree has to stand through every summer, through every drought, through every storm, through all the wind, through the birds that land and the people who cut, and it can't run, it can't do anything. It can just be and record and live and tell us its stories and bear its fruit and do the work that it was brought here to do. So does every other being on this planet. Our rivers can't get away from our human calamity. Our rivers can't say, stop throwing poisons in us. Our rivers can just flow. They would love to do the work they were given here to do at their highest level. Give us clean water and allow us to swim and learn from its teachings. The river, everything has something to teach us. The ones who are out of order are the humans. We are the ones out of order. And the path back into order is through our heart. The path back into order is through our heart. So I'm so grateful for you. And I'm going to pull a card to see what Spirit would have us share. Just one. but have a share today to accent our message before I go into playing the bowls. What the Spirit want us to know for the collective? What is it for our collective legend? I've been using that word, our collective legend. If you're familiar with The Alchemist and the personal legend, we all have our personal legend, that which is calling us forward, right? But there's a collective legend. There's a collective legend that those of us on the fool's journey are finding our way to. And so I am asking Spirit to just speak through and give us some understanding on what would you have us know for today as a part of our collective journey and our way through being to the heart. Yeah, I feel good to stop there. Interesting. So, the card that we pulled today is the Queen of Pentacles. And the queens represent water. The queens represent water for me, in my learning. The queens represent water. And the pentacles represent earth or manifestation. So this is speaking to me about how we deal with the emotion, our emotional state around our physical manifestations. What do we need to know about our emotional state around our physical manifestations? And definitely it being us in the sense that when you deal with the court cards, they normally are talking about individuals, people. Not all, it can be about people and not necessarily a situation. But if you understand here, I believe that this is speaking to us about the impact of our emotions, our relationship with our emotions to our physical creations, the relationships, the physical world, the density around us. There are times where I've spoken to you all about tone. And sometimes we don't realize we have poison in our tone. I just said what I said. Look, do you get what I'm saying? All of that gets in the way of your love. People can't feel you because of what they're feeling from you. They can't hear you because of what they're feeling from you. You cannot come to people with venom in your tongue and expect that they're going to receive the words that you're given. And a lot of times people move with so much ego and so much, it is how it is. This is how I talk. Therefore, you will have no relationships until you learn to refine your tongue. And yes, that is humbling. That is humbling. You have to go through this humility aspect of, so you're telling me I'm the one? Why? They hurt me. And now we found the seed. Then we found the seed. They hurt me. So now I hurt them. When did they hurt you? And you can say the age. You can tell me right now. When did they hurt you? And if you just open your mouth, a number will fall out. 7. 7 showing up for me. And as that 7 shows up for me, I think back 2nd grade. What were my experiences? They hurt me. Are you still 7? Do we have to continue to operate from that tone of poison? Remember, the way through is through the heart. And the mindfulness, yes. The mindfulness that we speak of is the mindfulness, I call them moments. Like the day sometimes can feel too long, but if I can muster, I'm going to use a lot of M's here. If I can muster many mindful moments, I might make a magnificent day. If I can muster many mindful moments, I might manifest a beautiful day. So thank you all. We pulled a card. Let's all become mindful of our emotions, about our creations, our pentacles, our gifts on this earth. Because when we begin moving into, remember, electromagnetic. So we're broadcasting and we're receiving. So whatever state you're broadcasting from, if I'm broadcasting from the world sucks, can't stand this, it's terrible, or it's all gonna blow up, it's just terrible, there's civil war on the end, and it's gonna be a terrible thing, and it's gonna draw that energy into you. You're gonna attract it. That's what's gonna be your resonance point. So this is why I talk to you about breath and mindfulness and connecting to nature and finding ways to heal your relationships and being in the now moments that feel good. Yes, a majestic morning. The way through. The way to the world that we're all wanting. The collective wants a different world. There are those who say they don't want a different world because they don't believe they can have it. Many people are saying they don't want a different world because they don't believe they can have it. So they just accepted it what is, because how dare you get their hopes up high that we can make a better world. They'd rather just sour grapes it. They'd rather just say they're sour grapes. It'll never happen. That's why the demonstration matters. Me showing up consistently to share these messages with you, operating from the principle of the Sacred Mother. I'll drop in little pieces of why, my own story, like I did with my friend, and how I had to make peace with who was showing up angry. Like, who was this? Oh, I remember that person. I'm not that person. That's interesting. But I still am, huh? So I had to send them a message apologizing. Not because of anything that I did wrong, but it wasn't even apologizing. It was recognizing, thank you for bringing me an opportunity to witness myself in some places that I didn't know that I still had to work on. And so I'm working through those things, but I appreciate you because I want to be able to hear their story without being triggered. That's mine to do. So let's play some music. What do I have here? We're going to play a little music on the bowls. We're going to struggle and then we grow, right? And I like the idea of we're going to spiral and then we grow. We're going to, just like the plants, right? I don't want to call it a struggle. That's because I'm resisting. Struggle comes from resistance. When we resist things, we struggle against it because what do you mean I have to? And I'm scared and it is too fast, it is too much. Then you say to Spirit, can you slow that down? And then you slow it down. You slow it down because you get to choose. But the struggle comes from resistance. When you allow yourself to flow and breathe and sway and laugh and experience and savor and receive, it's not a struggle. It becomes an unfolding. And just like the plant who reaches and reaches and reaches and reaches, and as they get higher, their bud begins to come out. You ever see a budding, that little pink or white that's coming out of the green, and then it slowly begins, and the entire time it's this unfolding. That unfolding that nature brings to us is another opportunity for us to see what we can become when we yield to the flow. Struggle or flow. Manifest or stagnate. We choose. So The way through is through the heart. Find your ways to forgive, to heal, to ask for forgiveness, to find acceptance, to allow, to deal with your triggers, so that you can be safe to be around. And your children will thank you, and your parents will thank you, and your siblings will thank you, and all of a sudden they'll be like, I'm still upset. And then you can even use it's just anyway. I can't give it all today. I want to say so much, but I can't give it all away today. If you need more, inbox me. I do work. I do readings. I do shares. We find ways to communicate. You ask me questions, I'll come on and do a blue light special. If you do want a reading or a consultation or even a clearing, I do these things because it's important. And when I serve you, I'm serving the world. When I serve you, I serve the world. So anyway, I'll stop talking and play these bowls. That's what we are here to do. Let's play these bowls. Let's go. Ah, ooh, ah, Sometimes we will feel discord. Sometimes we will feel discord. And then thank you all so much for joining me today as we move through the energy of the Queen, the Pentacles, working through our relationship to the earth, our emotions about our manifestations. I receive a message right now that the Great Mother, we have been without her for some time. We have been without the energy of the Mother for some time. Humanity needed to go on its journey. As we come back into relationship with the Great Mother, it is at a time where we have caused, co-created, allowed, witnessed, stood as best we could to the what is in our current society. But the mother looks upon us, her creations, with love, and she would have us come through. She would have us to know ourselves. She would have us to know who we are as she is cloaked in this green of great love. she would have us know right relationship with our manifestations. This is where we are. How do we evoke right relationship with our manifestations? The path is through the heart. So thank you all for your time. Thank you for joining me on this day 6. Yes, day 6. I will be bringing a card or a message in from now on so that you can get even more. Gotta give it all. Gotta give it all away. If you don't give it all away, you don't make more space for new things to come in, right? So you get the sound, you get the bowls, you get the message. Now you get the reading, the message from on high. And there'll be different readings. I have different tools. So thank you all so much. Blessings so much. And I'll talk with you soon. Until tomorrow or later today. If you follow me on Facebook, you already know. I'll pop on at any time. All right. Blessings, y'all.